Welcome to Crazed Performance Repair. We are working on one of the worst vehicles I have seen yet to date. I am going to go ahead and show you guys a few things after I go over the history of this thing. If you have been tuning in before, this vehicle I have quite a history of. I'll go ahead and throw links above once I get to that point and I'm able to do that. This vehicle is a big problem child. It started out with 3 misfires. It had cylinder 1, 6, and 7 misfiring. And all those cylinders were lifter issues when that thing popped up. I see a couple people tuning in now. I'm just explaining the basic things that you guys have probably already seen. So with that, this vehicle had a couple of issues that were going on with it. And I'm about to show you guys the crazy thing that has popped up. Wow, my live stream's over there. That's kind of weird. So I'm going to show you guys the crazy things that I have found with this vehicle. It is quite interesting, to say the least. Okay, so you can see I have the top half of the motor off. For those of you who don't know, I already did a timing chain on this vehicle because the timing chain had a crazy amount of issues going on with it. So here is the tensioner part of it. Here's the other parts of it. Those are broken, and they're supposed to be on here, and the chain was slapping up against here. And of course, here's the chain itself. You have to replace that just because it was stretched. So there's that. The spark plugs, I had one where I was pulling it off, and this cylinder here, somebody had cross-threaded it. So that's something that nobody knows about yet until now. That particular plug was sitting in their kitty wampus, and the socket was so, or the plug was so close to this wall here that I couldn't hardly get a socket on it. And so that was a very unique circumstance, I guess, for this turd that's just turning into a nightmare for the customer. So go back over here, and I'm going to show you guys what I actually found that's just absolutely insane. So when I had the bottom half of this thing apart, the cam was actually in good shape from the bottom. So it looked like the cam was in great shape. And as I was inspecting things, I left all these in the right position here. But you see the roller? Oh, come on. There we go. Focus. Focus. Hang on. I'm going to get my hand on here better. There we go. Now it focuses. See that roller? It's kind of pitted. The reason that roller is pitted is it's just starting to have an issue. So that is the first sign of a problem. So if you have that, just check your camshaft. It might not be damaged yet. Check the top of the lobe. It might still be okay, but most likely if the lobes have damage like that, they are damaged. There is a possibility they're not. In this very unique circumstance, they're not. Now, I have one of the lifters out here, you can see. And that one, I was making an attempt. It has the pitting as well. I was making an attempt. You can see I have this hooked up here, that's tied to the top. Then I have this tied to the bottom. And what I was doing was I was hanging this thing up and trying to give it weight so that I can try and activate that with air pressure and hit this with a hammer at the same time to try and pop this free because it's not coming out of here like it's supposed to. This is one of the lifters that would continue to collapse, but it was freely moving, and it just feels really, oops, sorry about that, feels really strange. So I'm just trying to get this thing released, and then my air hose blew apart, so I decided the hell with that. I'm just going to get the live stream going here, and I'll show this guy when I actually do the video on this vehicle later on. But the most insane thing about this vehicle is the pistons themselves. So I had one piston from underneath when I was cleaning out the oil pan. I found this, and I knew immediately what it was as soon as I saw it. As soon as I saw that sitting at the bottom of the pan, I knew what it was. If you look at this side, you can see the Teflon coating. That's from the piston skirt. And that was, I believe, cylinder 4, if I remember correctly. Cylinder 4 on this side here. However, when I pulled the top half apart, I pulled this side off first, and right away I noticed that part of the piston. Holy crap, who has ran into that yet on a stock vehicle? I've seen that on blown performance vehicles where you blow a chunk of piston off like that, but nothing stock. Who knows, maybe this thing got hit with nitrous and they really hid the nitrous well. I don't know, but we have that over there. And then we also have cylinder number 4 as well. So we have 2 cylinders that the piston has busted it. Now, I looked at these cylinder walls, and the cylinder walls are actually in really good shape yet. And I find that interesting because obviously the rings are exposed quite a bit on this motor. So that's, oh, that light does not work for you guys. So that situation is very, very strange, and I don't like it at all. It's not, and there's no way a guy could have predicted this. No way whatsoever that you could have anticipated this kind of issue popping up when you're taking apart a motor. And I just want to point out, for those of you who are not mechanics yourselves, these are the kind of things that are really tough for us to explain to our customers, that, hey, you have this scenario going on, there's nothing I could have did. And some customers are really tough at understanding that, and they think that we're out to get them, and we're not. It's just, we run into these issues and there's nothing we can do about it. It just sometimes happens. So I want to make sure I point that out. Now, if any of you don't have the notification bell clicked for this video yet, be sure to do that, because I do a lot of live streams, especially lately since I've been so busy. I just want to spit that out as well. So this video is going to be coming out at some point. I am not going to do the full disassembly on it. I'm probably going to start covering the video from this point forward, and I will cover these things, and I'll show a couple other things. I'm going to show how to replace a piston in this thing, because what I'm actually going to do is replace those 2 damaged pistons. Hopefully it's just the 2, and that way we can save this guy as much money as possible. Since the cylinder walls look okay, as long as the bearings are good underneath, we're going to replace 2 pistons and be done with it. You know, the rings too, because you might as well. And it should be good to go at that point, but obviously it costs much more than expected. Another thing, when you're replacing pistons, you don't want to change out the rod bearings just because. So rod bearings get seated to the crankshaft, and that's a very important thing to know of. That way you don't put new rod bearings in. They may end up burning themselves out. Another thing with these vehicles is the rod bearing cap bolts. They are stretch bolts on the rod bearing caps, so make sure you replace those too. But I'll cover all that in the next video. So I just wanted to get this out there. Be sure to hit the thumbs up button, like, share, subscribe, and as always, hope to see you on another video. Thanks for watching.